Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Two Advantage Sports, guys. I am one of your hosts, Joe Rendacci, back with my legendary podcast partner, Mr. Paul Gallagher, out of Atlanta, before he tells you that for the umpteenth time. So how are you, Paul?
Legendary in my own mind. I'm back, Joe. I've been away for a little bit, but I'm ready to talk about my hometown team and the biggest
Yes,
signing of the summer.
perfect timing for you to talk about your Philadelphia 76ers and their brand new rookie, Mr. LeBron James. Tell
Rookie.
me about it.
Rookie. I'm not. You're not much older than LeBron. I don't think he's no rookie, but obviously I'm ecstatic. I get some of the where I'm going to go with this is, there are definitely two sides to the camps on this one. There is a lot of hate that he's ring chasing, that he's doing this and doing that. And I don't understand it. I don't get it. I mean, the Yankees and the Dodgers have been doing this for decades. Players have been going after championships forever. And now we're criticizing a guy for playing in his 23rd, 24th, 25th year. We should be applauding him. And the other thing I would say is this isn't Miami where LeBron came and then they brought in everybody else. We built this team before LeBron. We had Edgecombe and Maxey, made the trade for Brown, which was fantastic, got rid of Paul George. It's very similar to when I was growing up and the 1980s, and Moses Malone came. And Moses Malone was the final piece to the puzzle that gave us size, that allowed us to go win a championship, our last one that we won. So I see it as a final piece. I see it as the best part of his game now is going to be chucking the rock to Maxey and Edgecombe and assists. And I think that's what he's going to really cement. And he's going to make superstars out of Maxey and Edgecombe, hopefully, is the thing. But the amount of hate that I'm seeing on social media and the bobblehead sports talk people, which I hope we are not. We're not bobbleheads, are we, Joe?
No, we're just calling it the way it is. Two Advantage Sports, guys. So I agree with probably most of that. He is chasing a ring because they're all chasing rings. What the hell are they supposed to be doing?
It's your job. Yeah,
It's
you're right.
your job to chase rings. So he should go where it gives him the best chance. Now, whether he's the final piece of the puzzle or not, I think they're going to take it easy with him and try to get him to the playoffs healthy and then make a difference. I think the regular season is a farce in the NBA. Yeah. I think whether they finish first or second or third is kind of irrelevant. I think home court has not showed much. Look at the Knicks went on that run and won like 9 on the road in a row. So I think that I don't think he's the star of the team. He's a veteran brought in on a 2-year, $8 million non-existent contract. Not that he needs the money. But I don't see him as the first option to score. As the second option to score, right? So he's a like great puzzle piece, right. To your point. He's a great puzzle piece. Why not, if you could get a legend like in his last year or two for like basically no money to maybe, again, final puzzle piece to win a championship? It's a no-brainer. And the talking heads, that's their job. Like they literally sit there in the green room ahead of time and go, they flip a coin and go, okay, you're going to be for or against it today. Like, come up with your bullet agenda points, right? But it's we can't even agree that there is air we're breathing, with no less whether LeBron should be there or not.
Yeah, no, exactly. Good point. And he's not the first, second, third option. Again, I think he's an assist guy, and I think you're correct in the regular season's a waste. You could say that about other sports too, but Embiid has no knees, so you got to manage his playing time. You could legitimately make two different styles of basketball, one for the regular season and then one with all your cylinders firing. So when you have to sit Embiid and you have to sit LeBron, and last year when we had to sit Paul George, you could basically make it a perimeter shooting game and have a different style. So I'm kind of excited to see from that standpoint what is done with the team in general, and you know what can you get done. But I went on, and the merchandise that will be sold, it's not too dissimilar from Otani signing with the Dodgers, and the Dodgers making a mint off of ticket sales and merchandise sales and viewership sales in Japan. So it's a marketing move that's designed to make money, which is what sports is about now. It's not about on the field or on the court. It's about on the TV and everything else going on with it. So listen, I bought Topps Now LeBron card yesterday. Bought 5 of them, hoping for the golden ticket of a 1-1 LeBron in his Sixers uniform. So everything from cards to jerseys to viewership will be done. But it's a great signing. I don't know how people get negative about it, but
I mean,
that's
again,
life.
Championships aren't won in the off season, right? Like it's a long season, between Maxey, what's his name? Edgecombe, I never say it right. Edgecombe, Brown, Jaylen Brown and LeBron and Embiid. Now, let's see who's healthy. Let's see what.
Well, here's the thing, but the healthiness, and sorry to interrupt, but the healthiness is now not going to be a problem. I just saw this morning where KCP, his buddy from the Grizzlies, is going to come to Philly. Now the bench begins to fill out. So we drafted a young perimeter shooter. We're going to sign a couple more bench players. They'll be crucified for coming to Philly, chasing a ring. They're all going to sign low contracts and hang out. Well, I watched a great thing on Instagram the other day where, one of the biggest reasons they sign with Philadelphia is we've got 6 of the best golf courses in the U.S. And LeBron can work on his golf game all year. We have arguably the best course in the country and then a few more. So he's going to hang out, play basketball with his buddies, not retire, keep his brand going. I mean, it's what everybody dreams of as a sports star. So it's great.
Yeah, sorry to cut you off now. I'm going to take a little bit different approach here at the end. And I'm not even going to give him so much crap for it, but I have to put it out there. The way, even though I hated the Dallas Cowboys, I had respect for Emmitt Smith for all those years until he finished up in an Arizona Cardinals uniform because he couldn't just let it go. He couldn't just spend his whole career and just retire as a Cowboy like he should have. And he had to go blow it. I mean, even Babe Ruth left the
Montana.
Yankees.
Yeah, Montana, Namath, countless others, right? Barkley came out against LeBron and he signed with the friggin' Phoenix Suns, for God's sake. So keep going. Yes, you're right. Yes, keep going.
But to that point with Barkley and even Montana with the Chiefs, they did take them to the playoffs. They still did have gas in the tank, right? And I'm not saying LeBron.
And so will LeBron. I mean, I think he's a specimen of a human being.
Yes, and he should. But I will say for his legacy, you kind of wonder why he didn't go back to Cleveland to finish this and then step into ownership. Like, it's not like Cleveland is a last place team, right? He could be one of those pieces too to have, get them over the top. They've been in the Eastern Finals, I think, the last 2 years. So why not go back to Cleveland? That I could see him getting crap for. Not Miami. I mean, even when he went to Miami, and now his name just dropped out of my head. Who was this?
Dwayne Wade
had already run a championship there with Shaq, right? Back in the day.
Pat Riley and all that. Yeah.
Pat Riley.
Right.
Yeah. Sorry, not Shaq. And so I will say I was surprised he didn't go back to Cleveland and he picked just a different city. Like if he would have went back to Miami, I kind of would have understood. If he would have went to Cleveland, I definitely would have understood. Even if he would have went to Golden State.
Golden State is the mystery. Yeah, yes. Right. Golden State.
Curry tried to advocate big to get him there. I think.
But again, there's. Really... Yeah, and you made a great point. I've been, I guess, hoping for this for a while, but I thought he would pick Philly. I'm obviously a little bit biased, but Golden State's the mystery to go get them, stay on California. But that's where other things in life start to matter at a certain age, and he's in his 40s now. So again, it may sound silly, but golf, hanging out with Kevin Hart, hanging out with his buddies, collecting, not far from New York. I read something where he may even live in New York and commute. I think there's other factors there that legacy is a word I hate to hear, but it's important, right? That's what everybody talks about, from building wealth for their family to sports stars leaving their mark. So yeah, the legacy part is now happening, and he's got a long-term view. And the last thing I would say is, please never say the words Cleveland and Philadelphia in the same sentence. The choice between the two.
Philly,
Oh
Cleveland,
my
Cleveland,
gosh. Well,
Philly.
come on.
But
The choice
anyway,
between deciding to go to Cleveland or the city of brotherly love is not really a
nobody
choice.
should ever go to Cleveland, but he
Nobody.
came from Cleveland. But he
Thank you.
came from Cleveland.
I get it. I get the Cleveland thing. Yeah, I get it.
He is Cleveland. So, but to your point about if he lived in New York just to play the Cosmopolitan and helicopter to each game, I kind of would understand then why he wanted to go from coast to coast. But his kid is still playing for the Lakers. His wife and the other kids are out on the West Coast. I mean, you went from coast to coast. Like, it's not, you could have just stayed at Golden State and it'd have been easy. Like,
Well, I think, though, it's a decision that people have to make, whether they're in their 40s or their 50s. What is my next 10 to 20 years going to look like? When we talk about this, not always about sports, but that becomes the question. At a certain age, you have to look forward and say, what is the next chapter? What is the final chapter to a sports career that catapults him into the next chapter of life and a brand and what else he wants to do? And, he's still going to be young at 43 or 44 when he does retire. I think there's a 2-year deal and he's 41 now. Maybe a player option for a third. I'm not sure, but
no, he's going to be he's going to be in ownership 2 years from now. I just don't, I don't know where that is. I mean, maybe he's trying to just sprinkle his seed in as many cities as he can. So by the time he's done, there are LeBron jerseys on, 4 different teams.
But make no mistake about it. This is one of the best teams in the NBA. He is a final piece to a puzzle that really can catapult them to the next level. It is a legitimate championship team. So that above everything else.
Okay. I think your bias is kicking in a little much.
I think your lack of. Oh, come on.
Don't get mouthy. I think your bias is kicking in way too much. Because I think on paper you got a good team there, but these people have to play together. They got to stay healthy together. You got to see if they got it. I mean,
who's better in the East?
Hang on, still talking. I still can't believe the Knicks beat San Antonio. San Antonio on paper should sweep them 9 out of 10 times, and they just San Antonio was not ready to play that Knicks team, and I don't think that Knicks team is that great.
That Knicks team swept the Sixers, swept 3 other stages of playoff. We all saw that Knicks team winning the champ. I saw the Knicks team win the championship. Yeah, I mean, they were blowing through people. They swept Cleveland. They swept Philly. They won that in 6 against the Spurs. Like, they have a complete team. Thanks to Villanova University, they have a complete team that was able to do everything.
Nova Knicks.
Nova Knicks, right? So yeah, you're being silly. To say that
silly. I have no malice against your 76ers. I don't care if they win or not. I just think let's not get the trophy.
They're a top. I haven't given the trophy yet. I haven't given the trophy, but to say they're the top 3 team in the East is not a stretch at all.
I don't think it's a stretch. I don't think the East is that. So who's the other 2 teams? Knicks and who else? I mean,
Cleveland's pretty good. Right? So they did well. Boston and the Knicks are still great. Boston just folded, though. We just gave them Paul George and they just lost Brown. So they're done. So I don't know what everybody else got. Again, it's my fourth sport on the spectrum of sports. It's hockey, football, baseball, basketball. And if you put a good soccer game on, I'll watch that instead of a basketball game. But now I'll watch all the Sixer games just to see.
You have an MLS soccer team?
I don't. No. I'm not that great.
There's no Philly MLS soccer team?
No, there's an Atlanta team that's really popular here that I should follow, but
yeah, no, the Atlanta United are big there in Atlanta, but Philly doesn't have one? Wow.
I'm sure they do. I'm sure it's somebody. It's not the Liberty, but I'm sure it's something to do with freedom. I'm sure, Joe.
Did your Magic Brownie high end after the World Cup already, like mine did?
Yeah, I mean, I probably won't watch a soccer game, but I enjoyed that last game was incredible. I enjoyed it all. I don't know what happened to Argentina. I really don't. And that's where the social media starts going. They come out of the tunnel to get ready for the game. And I don't know whether you saw this, but a lot of them were crying. A lot of them were just either wound too tight or something was going on, or they were threatened by somebody. I don't know what happened, but to not have a shot on goal in regulation in the championship game, kind of weird.
Yeah, if you watched all of Argentina's games, which I kind of somehow did, they scored just about 80% of their goals after the 75th minute. They made comeback after comeback.
Yeah.
And like they were on their last gasp as reigning champions. And, you know, in hindsight, it's not surprising they lost. They would just try to get to the penalty shots because Spain was like 1-5 in their last 6 games with penalty shots. So
that's why England lost. It's why football teams lose. You can't go into the prevent too early. And so I must admit, maybe there's a recording of me saying Spain would win the whole thing back in the first round, but I did call Spain. So, I mean, I should start gambling again.
Spain. I picked Argentina at the end. Didn't happen, but I will say this. I did a short form vintage 5 on what's wrong with soccer last week, and I go into the no scoring stuff. I go into take one guy off the field stuff and all that stuff. But if you watch the third place finisher game, which nobody cares about, between France and England, the final was 6-4. It was beautiful.
Yeah, because they didn't give a shit, right?
Exactly.
So, yeah, right. Exactly. And that's the problem with soccer is a lot of the big teams, and it's why the little guys did well. Cape Verde and Congo and others, they just played because they knew this was their shot. The big teams, France, to your point, Argentina, they play conservatively for the first 30 minutes and don't score. And that goes against, I will say this, the American way of watching. We don't want to watch teams half-ass it. It's just not the way we're wired. And so that's why between that and flopping, and that's the only thing that LeBron, if we can correlate soccer and LeBron conversations, there's nobody who flops more than a soccer player from France or LeBron. They should
have Academy Awards given out to every soccer player during the game. So here's what we're going to end
it on. And LeBron, but you should see the highlight reel for LeBron flopping. It's at an all-time high. So there's how we bridge the gap of what we talked about today.
I can't tell you exactly why he probably doesn't get the credit he deserves. And I feel with everybody else that doesn't want to give him that credit he deserves. Maybe it's because he's still playing, and 5 years from now, he'll get it. He's absolutely a legendary top 10 player. But I guess if you're our age, Michael Jordan's the greatest basketball player ever.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just went to my friend Claude and had him line up the stats year by year to MJ. And they're pretty damn similar. And then the whole conversation goes out the window because it's 15 seasons versus 23. I just don't think you can compare the two. But what you can say is for the first 15 seasons of both careers, MJ is by far and away the greatest player of all time. And
I mean, at the end of the day, I look at it as 6 straight championships. I know he had his year and a half off from his gambling problem, but he still won the 3. The trying to hit a curveball for the White Sox, and then the 3 more in a row, right?
Yeah.
And he probably could have stayed and maybe won another one. So, 6
And that's,
championships.
yeah, it is. But that also touches on something. And again, going back to the beginning of chasing rings, unfortunately, players are judged by the amount of championships they get. And that's another talking head, bobblehead, walk down the wrong road. I think that championships are a team goal, and to judge an individual by how many rings he has and applaud them for having 5 rings or 4 rings or 6 rings, I think is ludicrous. Dan Marino, one of the best quarterbacks of all time, right? And I know that's an old hat, but that's where I just think that we've gotten off course when all we talk about is championship rings, because analyze the sport by sport. Football needs a running game, basketball needs a bench, injuries happen everywhere. Baseball, needs to not the bats to go cold. So there's a whole thing about every sport on championships, and everybody who says that a player is great or not great just by the championships they won. Well, that's
let me leave you with
this.
Let me leave you with this question, because it's been a constant one lately. Is Eli Manning a Hall of Famer?
Ooh. I hate to cop out, but I don't know the stats of Eli Manning. Yes, 2 Super Bowl rings helped vault him to the conversation, but I think it deserves a whole nother show. Is the Hall of Fame for the 5 to 10 year period in which you played compared to the other players in that decade or in that 10-year period? So if Eli had a 10-year career, and I don't even know offhand because he's a giant, how many years he played, let's just say he played 10. I'd have to compare the stats against the other quarterbacks in that 10-year. And that's going to tell me if he's in the Hall of Fame or not. And the Hall of Fame then gets jacked when you start looking at decades versus decades, now versus then, all that kind of stuff. Joe Montana was in a heavy quarterback time frame. Dan Marino and others, but he was clearly better than anybody in that time frame.
Marino or Montana?
Well, Montana was, and then I thought, well, other players too. So I stopped myself and said, well, Marino played with the same time. So that's what makes a Hall of Famer. So I'd have to look at Eli Manning versus the other guys of that period.
Well, here's what I'll say, and let's try to leave it at that. Otherwise, we'll keep talking here. Manning, if you looked at his stats over his career, to your point, he's not going to be the leader most of those years. He's right in there in the top 5, right? Nothing spectacular like Peyton compared to Eli, but you can't take away the 2 Super Bowls that they stopped the unstoppable Patriots, especially the 16-0 Patriots.
Yeah.
Right? Where he won the Super Bowl MVP for both of those Super Bowls. Otherwise, the Patriots, looking back, would be 8-0 in Super Bowls during that run.
Yeah. Well, I think, and that even goes back to what you said earlier, and we can do another show on it. Why are players disliked? Why do so many players dislike LeBron or Tom Brady or whoever it is? It's because they win. And there's a jealousy factor there. There's a human factor there. Great players are also probably the most disliked players in certain camps because they're great. I don't like Tom Brady, but
I don't like him either, but I respect him.
But that's probably because he won too many times.
I think LeBron's problem was, maybe
cheated.
For people like us, was that I believe in you make the team, you create the team, you stick with the team. Now, obviously, we are where we are in sports, but when he went to Miami and put Dwayne Wade, and I forget the tall center from
I know what you mean.
From Toronto. I didn't like building that thing. They colluded.
Yeah, because you're a vintage guy. You're a vintage guy who wants Mickey Mantle to play for the Yankees his entire career, who wants, Mike Schmidt to play for the Phillies his entire career. You're a vintage guy, and I respect that. Like, and that's the thing we started the show about, chasing rings and chasing this. It is a different time, free agency and money, but now sports is all about TV contracts and the off the court, off the field, off the ice legacy that you put in. So now players aren't as concerned with their on the court performance. They have to be concerned with what they're going to do off the court, because it's all about building a brand and it's all about TV contract revenue. So those two things are really changing the course of sports. And so LeBron goes to Philly for the long game. And the long game is his brand after he's done, his, to your point, legacy from the game, and his balance of life of playing golf and hanging out with Kevin Hart and making a new career.
Yeah, but the problem with LeBron is, like, when he went to the Lakers, that was Kobe's town, even though he wasn't playing. Like, don't go to the Lakers. There's too many. If you want to be the legendary player you are, go. I don't know. Go fight.
Go to Cleveland. You're right.
It's a vintage comment. Go find a team and make it. And you take them from the dregs and make it. Don't go to these places. It's like if I told Kevin Garnett's going to be a top 10 all-time player. When he goes to the Hall of Fame, whose jersey is he wearing? He's had a suitcase packed at the door his whole career. He has no roots. He has no, I mean, probably Minnesota. I don't even know. Like,
yeah. I got you. No, and that's a great classic vintage opinion. And I think you're not wrong at all. I would challenge it just a little bit to say, you don't have to go to Cleveland and win, or the dregs of society and win. You could be the final piece to the puzzle and bring a team from the first or second round playoff loss to the championship. And that difference might not be MVP level, but I think that's what we have with the Sixers now is, again, I said it about Moses Malone. He allowed us, and he came to the team, and we won a championship, not just like this. So this is our best chance. We have injuries can happen, old age can happen, anything can happen. You could tear your Achilles, but I think it's okay to look forward, build your legacy, cement who you are, make a city happy. I mean, if they do win for the first time since 1983, he'll be adored. He will have changed. He will have won. I don't know what Philly is, top 6, top 7 population in all of, it's LA, New York, Philly, Miami, right? So he will have a new camp of adoring fans. And that's pretty big too.
Yeah, what'll be interesting, and I don't know if you would remember this or not, being a vintage baseball guy, when the Mets went back to they won in '69 and they went back in '73 to the World Series. Do you know who joined their team for that '73 season? Willie Mays. But he was not Willie Mays from the 50s,
from the Giants,
in the 60s, right? And he still had a little left.
Yeah.
But he was pretty much exactly.
Yeah.
I would say LeBron is a little more at the top of his game just because of the conditioning of nowadays. Yeah. But he's pretty much Willie Mays of '73, 20 years later, showing up to try to help the Met team.
Yeah.
With that final piece. And they didn't win. The Mets, they lost.
But still, you're proving the point, which is this has always been done. There's nothing wrong with it. There's no reason to hate. I think you applaud the guy for having a 23-year career, and that is unheard of. And
I also didn't go to college, started at 18 and didn't wear his body down for 3 years in college. He's one of the few like Kobe. That's a big difference. You could knock 3 years off of wear and tear and stats.
but I would say it's not a huge difference between 20 and 23 then, right? So even if we were to talk about 20, it's impressive nonetheless. And the other thing is his assist, and a buddy of mine texted me going, his assists and his basketball IQ is off the charts. That's the part I'm excited about. I'm excited to pass the ball to Maxey and make Maxey an elite player. Not only because I just got in the mail from Topps, my Topps Now Tyrese Maxey auto, one of 10, that's probably going to be a hit in a couple more years, and I'll keep that one for the collection. But as a Philly fan, let's make Edgecombe and Maxey, and let's get it for Embiid too. And, we'll close on trust the process. That's what we got in Philly. Trust the process, man.
I will be interested to see, because this is the first time he's not showing up somewhere as the man.
Right.
He's got to pass the ball to the man or the men, right?
Right. Yep.
Can he adjust? Can he use that IQ for basketball that you say and make everybody better on that court? If he can adapt to that role to get that ring, God bless him. We'll see what happens. It'll be interesting.
And you're exactly right. That's where he rounds out everything. He picks up more fans. He converts the haters to lukewarm and the lukewarm the fans. And I'm a lukewarm guy on him. Now I'll be a fan. So,
all right. Well, stay tuned. Good conversation. We will call it there. Thanks for following us, and say goodbye, Paul.
Goodbye, Paul.